Greetings and welcome everyone to my more in-depth review of Rainbow Rocks. In case you haven't already, I'd recommend giving my first review of this film a watch, because this video is going to get into some heavy spoiler territory. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'd say that you should go check it out, because there are quite a few intriguing elements that I'm going to be discussing here. And really, Rainbow Rocks is actually more worthwhile than the first Equestria Girls movie, so I'd recommend it to any fan of MLP. Now I'm going to be talking about some of the good elements, some of the bad elements, and maybe a few things on some of the more intriguing new ideas. Let's start with one of the more noticeable differences between the first film and its sequel, Spike. Now I remember Spike being much more of a character in the first movie. He was supportive, he was funny, he managed to show much more potential in being an entertaining character. In Rainbow Rocks, he was kind of just there. Very little for him to actually do in the story. But while I really wish Spike could have shown all the good qualities that we saw in the first film, I can understand why he didn't have that much of a role here. The first Equestria Girls movie was really Twilight's story, and she needed Spike to be that supportive and encouraging presence. Rainbow Rocks is really more Sunset Shimmer's story, and in some ways, Twilight and Sunset ended up being that supportive and encouraging presence for each other, which I have to say turned out very nicely. That whole scene in the kitchen with them talking about what others expect from them was very well done. So even though Spike does fit that sort of role rather well, it really wasn't needed for this story. I guess I can understand the writer's choice for giving him much less of a presence. Flash Sentry, though. I really don't understand what the MLP staff expect out of him. I was really hoping that he would do something that would make him stand out as a character and not just a character's boyfriend. But no. It seems that all he was needed for was to create some awkward moments with Twilight during a couple of scenes and make her cry when the story needed some more tension. He was actually given more to do in the first movie. So, considering that the writers don't seem to want to develop his character as of yet, I guess it is a good thing that there was less of him in Rainbow Rocks. I absolutely have to give credit to the MLP staff for the many cameos throughout the movie. A lot of good laughs were to be had, and Vinyl Scratch's role in the story's climax was a lot of fun. Though I have to say that Maud Pie's sudden appearance made me crack up more than anything else. However, like I mentioned in my first review of Rainbow Rocks, I worry that the MLP staff might be depending a little too much on cameos and fan service. It's good to have these creative moments as long as it isn't the most standout element in the film, which is why I was so glad to see what they did with Sunset Shimmer's character. She has a lot more depth, a much more relatable conflict, and now it seems that she's becoming a more permanent member of the group. And I'm totally okay with that. She was playing off the other characters in a good way, and actually contributed to the solution at the end. Though it was a little contrived just how quickly she joined in with the others singing during the climax, I actually do want to see where the writers take her character in the future. As for the villains, I did mention that they seemed very much like other bad characters I've come across in many other kinds of media, so they really didn't stand out all that much for me. There was a very short scene that showed some conflict in their little group, but the story never delved any further into that. However, I do think there is a lot of potential with their backstory, as it builds a little more on the world of Equestria. The sirens are creatures that feed off the negative energy of others, encouraging strife and disunity. Now, that sounds a lot like some other beings we've seen in MLP, the Wendigos. Interesting that we keep finding fantastical creatures that feed off of negative emotions. Although there is a bit of a difference in that the sirens cause disunity, whereas the Wendigos were drawn to the mistrust and harsh feelings between the three pony tribes. However, I can think of another being that was quite skilled at causing others to give in to their negative emotions. So it makes me wonder, could these sirens be somehow connected to both the Wendigos and Discord? Considering that Star Swirl banished these three to the human world so very long ago, and the fact that Discord seems to have also been given a very long lifespan, I'd like to see some fanfic writers get on this idea. Let me know. Last but most certainly not least, we have the end of credits scene with a new Twilight Sparkle and Spike. Obvious lead-in to another Equestria Girls sequel. Or Could it be that they're trying to build up to a TV series as well? I have some added thoughts on this topic, but I think I should save that for another video. In the meantime, though, I'd like to know what you think. What were your impressions of Spike and Flash Sentry in this film? How about Sunset Shimmer and Twilight Sparkle being the support role for each other? Which cameo appearance was your favorite? What do you think about these sirens sharing so many qualities with both the Wendigos and Discord? I would like to hear your thoughts on these topics, and I hope you will join me next time when I go over some possibilities with another Equestria Girls movie, and perhaps a TV series. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.